Good evening, ladies and gents and supporters of the Trini, Afro Trini View.
Blessed evening.
Welcome back.
To all kings and queens, god and goddesses, African male and female that will be tuning into the Afro Trini View.
Right. So as usual, we want to start with picking up the sponsors. Right. Tonight we have my brother in his, he's adorned in his Nubian Experience, Sashiki.
Yeah.
Finally, we are getting to West America. Right? Well, of course, I have one Nubian Experience as well. Know thyself.
Know thyself.
See it? Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Right? We also sponsored by
Masked by Ogunwumi.
Masked by Ogunwumi.
Take it up before I reach Davidson Watches, the one I have one more here.
Yeah. You now come from by Prindela Fashions.
I now come from by Prindela Fashions, a nice little session with, Miss Carol. Big respect, much love, more life and good health to the team at Prindela Fashions, Miss Carol and Big Brother Karega, always pushing and supporting young African people in the positive ventures. So much love to them.
Right. And I want to say a special good evening to my brother Orisha Lashe. Right. Yesterday he celebrated 42 years in this realm.
42 years.
Right, so we want to wish him all the best. Right, progress, slow progress is still progress. You know what I mean? We wish you all the best, brother. More life, good health,
thank you,
prosperity. Right. So, folks, tonight we have a serious topic tonight as usual. I know we don't really come with nothing soft. So there was a picture which you all would have seen before. Speaking to or coming from an individual or individuals, speaking to, for me is a disrespect to the African community, because it basically is you basically paint the whole race and say Africans stop killing Indians, right? And I mean, we really didn't anticipate that we was going to talk about this tonight, but because of that, we say, you know what, we go drop everything and we go discuss it, because far too often things like this is one heard, is one seen in our community, and
not just going on heard and unseen.
And we don't talk about
it. It is
unresponded, yeah.
So another ethnic group would say something or make a disparaging comment or remark about African, or even if they don't use the word Africans or refer to black people in Trinidad and Tobago, based on the comment, we would know they're referring to the black African community.
Correct.
And we wouldn't really hear any kind of response in defense or even correcting. Because as you say, you paint all away one way with a broad brush now, And the reality of Trinidad and Tobago is we have a good relationship when it comes to ethnicities in this country. Right. We know we have gaps. We know we have systems put in place to keep them gaps and even widen them. But on a personal level, for the most part, we have good relationships in this country between all the ethnic groups. Now, what we advocate for here on the Afro Trini View is for betterment of financial, economic, and power standings in the community, because we, as African people, we seldom like to talk about power, because we've been taught that everything bad and the power is corrupt. They can't do anything. I mean, there's something we're always talking here. Some of your clients come to, this is something we can't do anything without power. Whether it be in political arena, in finance, we can't do anything without power. So we need it. In today's world, that power in most cases is achieved via financial success. Right? When you have that power, then you can respond. I mean, I will call Sakmaraj's name because I learned plenty from Sakmaraj as an East Indian man. I learned that there is no shame in defending your people. I learned that you could make a healthy living by the support of your people alone.
Correct.
Right? And anything negative said about the East Indian community, he was one of the first people via his organizations to make a response. The media houses would contact him if somebody says something. So we come right back to why we doing this here today.
Yeah.
You know, a meme was put up allegedly by an East Indian person, showing different East Indian peoples that would have died tragically in a murder or accident. And then the line under it was African stop killing Indian. And it sounds like if we have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago where African people
targeting and killing out
East Indian people, and that is not so.
That's not so.
You know, and these things is the bitter tastes because then you have impressionable young minds on the two sides of the divide.
Correct. And the thing about it is the concerning thing for me, Orishalashi, is this: if this rhetoric is still taking place, and somebody have the goal to create a social media platform or page to continue that, what is being said in the homes?
Of course.
Right? What is being taught in the homes? Right? I mean, I've heard many people say, that, that is what they teach them. The fathers will teach the young daughters that African men will rape you and they will kill you and all these kind of things. Right? Tried, tested, and proven. We hear it. So we ain't coming to say we ain't sure or we ain't hear it. We know it. Right? And we hear it from more than one because I have East Indian friends.
I have East Indian friends and family.
And family, right? So for me it is very disturbing. And I think it is time for us to really rise up and start dealing with these matters head on. Right? It happened this week. He said it for me and I was pissed. And then I shared it on Facebook and somebody told me, Karen, take down that. Because in putting it up, you're giving it power, right? And I understand where the person was coming from because you really don't want to give them strength now. But at the same time, by not talking about it,
we're leaving it to go.
We're leaving it to go and it will continue. You understand? And it will continue. And I have 4 children to raise in this country that I don't want to have that conversation with. You understand? I don't want to have that conversation with them because I cannot tell my children who to love. If my daughter come and say, Daddy, this is my boyfriend, and my boyfriend is an East Indian, what am I supposed to say? I don't want to tell my place. Right? And we know that this happens on the next side.
Of course it does.
Right?
Of course it does.
We know it is go as far as some of them just get kicked out of the community when or if they decide to take an African, whether it be man or woman. Right? They get disbarred from the heritage, they get disbarred from any inheritance or any legacy that would have been bestowed to them as a result of.
I've seen that personally.
Right?
No hearsay.
Right. So, again, I want to know what is it going to take for us to realize that it's time for us to come together and build the community. Right? Okay, so Andrea passed away, God rest her soul, right? Rest in peace. But some of the utterances that take place and the subliminal messaging that came out as a result of that, from that community, from the East Indian community, and I'm not saying everybody, but because it had certain people that use it.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Right? They use it as a political ploy. They use it as a scapegoat. They use it as a platform to say some of the things that
they want to
say all the time. Right? And then it had, within the vibes now, we was in the middle. We know, because we are passionate people and we are loving people, we in the mix. And we saying, yes, we rise up against it. However, we have to look at ourselves now. Because when a gunman dead, it's bonfire thing, the community rising up, they're marching in town and wherever. But when the same gunman and them killing, we
want nothing to do with it.
Want nothing to do with it. We lose our virgin who
hard working
business owner,
working to better his own people.
No gay house.
Volunteering time, which some of us, including myself, is fine so hard. Volunteering time and everything. And it was just an article in the papers, and that was
it. No uprising, no.
Yeah.
And the man was innocent, and it's 4 of them get shot, 3 of them dead. Right? We ain't have no uprising. So here what I saying to your people. We have to cut that out. Yeah, it's time for we to, no mean saying that it has to have no revolution, you know. But at the same time, we have to start taking a stance.
But we quote we friend Jam Mortel.
Quote it.
It is a revolutionary mind.
Right.
We need a revolutionary mind. Right? I'm not for taking away arms and ammunition and things from people just yet.
Right.
I'm not for that as yet.
Right.
But I need we to stop turning them arms and ammunition on myself. And by saying that, I'm not saying to turn it on anybody else. Because that's what they're trying to do now.
Yeah,
when you teach me that I have mark black men, stop killing other black men. People watch me and tell me, so who they should kill? So why should we kill anybody?
We ain't saying kill nobody.
We ain't saying kill nobody, but I'm saying it's time for us to stop turning them guns on we own self.
Yeah.
Right? It has so much things affecting my community. You know?
And it's not now.
I listen to Chronic, and our whole next episode we go do with the music. Chronic sing a song called Sell My Gun. You would have think that these DJs in Trinidad and Tobago who claim to be so intelligent and thing would have played that song at least once for the ship. Every ship plays Sell My Gun at least once with the amount of gun violence we have in Trinidad and Tobago. And in part I say, how you gonna be bad and hungry? You know, and the same thing that plaguing them in Jamaica is plaguing us here.
Yep.
You know, so we had to look better than that because look at what we have. We dealing with all of that, and then we have to deal now with people looking at us, making these disparaging remarks. And you know, a lot of people would think that he could say what you want thing, but it has some young African child might look at that and see that and buy into that. And let's continue that cycle of self-hate. You know, where we organizations, as they put out things like this, I don't care if it's just a meme.
Jam.
It's supposed to have a response, a full page ad. The next day in the papers.
Denouncing it.
Denouncing that one time.
Yeah.
You can't paint all of us in that brush. Yeah. Look at what these two brothers here saying now doing.
Yeah.
It's Saturday evening.
Yeah.
We could be on some way saying don't drink anything. Spending time with your family. We here because it's serious.
Yeah. And we committed to it. And we know that it is going to have some people's toes we're going to step on. But at the end of the day, who say that, boy? You're not going to get anywhere without stepping on some toes.
It's the truth.
You understand what I'm saying? Malcolm says stand for something or fall for anything. Right? But boy, you understand? So, ultimately, we have to stand together all here. Whether it be, we have to start somewhere. Everywhere is communities. We have little pockets of successful black people all over the country who just in a silo. You understand? And it's time for we to start really looking to see how we can help one another. We need to form some associations. I know we have some, right? I know David Mohammed have the Black Agenda Project. I know his wife have the Trinbago Accent.
You know, and it will never have too much of these associations. No. What we need to do is, even if you form an association and I form an association,
it mustn't be a war.
It mustn't be a war. It must have a place for us to come. That's why I respect what David Mohammed and Roxanne Mohammed and them do with the Educational Center, because they have made it also available for African groups that want to have meetings there. You know, that's what we will need. We will need now. So both of our organizations want to meet to have a discussion on how we can work together, and we have a place to go and have that meeting.
If we can have it in the building, we sit down outside.
Right, because I have seen and heard. I would like to say fortunate. I had an old East Indian neighbor that used to drop me to work some years ago, and the conversation with him, because it was a little long ride, the conversations with him was very enlightening. You know, and one of the things he said, I often hear some elders say, and I want to repeat it so that we don't make the same mistakes. He said when was it Mahasaba or whichever it is, was the name of the East Indian organization at the time, was building schools up and down the country. African people was laughing at the style of the buildings.
Cow shed.
Them called cow sheds. He said, but look at them cow sheds today.
Yeah.
And
Solid
they have,
concrete.
but it's actual institutions today.
Yeah.
So they have actual educational institutions that started off as just four walls and a raised roof that we laugh at. And when we laugh, we wasn't building at the same time. We have no educational institutions. Well, I'm going to say no. Very, very little.
Right.
None that most of us can say off the tongue, roll off the tongue of the tongue. Like how we know you can go right in St. Augustine, two parts of St. Augustine, and find two highly recognizable East Indian educational institutions. Nothing wrong with that. But it's time for us to do it.
Yeah.
It's time for we to build recautions.
Yeah.
We have the masons, the plumbers, the carpenters. What happened?
The electricians.
The electricians, the welders, the fabricators, the plant drawers, the engineers.
Yeah. We ain't need nothing else. We ain't need nothing.
That these people and them can come and make a meme disrespecting all African people and saying African stop killing East Indian. Like if we have that problem in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. And then if we release to say so many things.
You know, we in 2021.
Right.
In 2020 we had a national general election.
Right.
And it don't shame me, it don't bother me, because I tell them I am a proud African. Your words to me can't change that.
Right.
I am pretty sure my presence will affect you more than your words trying to disrespect me. I sit down in a taxi, and these two East Indian gentlemen came in. I don't know if they didn't notice my dashiki thing in the front, which I was East Indian.
Right.
And they started going on, they had to get rid of them, I wouldn't use the word here, and saying, and they know how to do this and they know how to do that. The usual rhetoric when people describe us, that's why I say we have to, what we're talking about, we have to have responses to these things.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
You know? And when I was almost at my destination, because I realized they're going further than me, I turned around to look at them to let them see. And they get quiet for a few seconds.
And then continue.
And then no, they didn't actually continue, but then they start back to talk, trying to say the same thing, but in different terminology. So yes, it's like a continuation, but they didn't use the strong language
that they was using.
And that goes back to what you're saying earlier. If they could sit down in a taxi and talk like that, what they're talking home, what they're teaching the children, you know, what they're doing. Again, I say all of that to come back to, we have to make strong responses to when these people and them come. Any ethnic group, this is not a pick on one ethnic group.
Yeah.
Any ethnic group that make disparaging, disrespectful, untrue statements about the wider African community, we have to come out and respond against that, and it must be calculated responses. It mustn't be an emotional response.
Yeah. And we have to move away from this jam and wine thing. Everything is a cool scene, and you know, why do study that now and thing, and we go laugh and check. When you sit down and you think about it, how many East Indian radio stations they have media to reach their people, right? They get to the newspapers, right? They have a network called ICDN, right? And a newsletter that is go out to their people, right? Where are we starting? When are we going to get to that place?
And I want to make it clear
96.1 and 96.7 is not we stations.
Exactly. But the way you just said about the different media and the things they accomplished, this is not a bad thing. This is looking at their accomplishments, but also looking what some of their people will use it for.
Right.
And working towards getting ours like that, because it would be nice to turn on my radio. I listen to a lot of African music.
Yeah.
You know, I could call it Baba Tunde, Olatunji, Angelique Kojo, Sangare, Fela Kuti. It would be nice to turn on my radio in a country that at least half of the population is African people. It would be nice to turn on the radio and turn my dial. And turn, and start to hear some drumming. It would be nice to hear.
Yeah.
Because I tell them, for the Africans especially, I've never heard of East Indian say this, never. For the Africans who like to say, I'm not African, I'm a Trinidadian, most of us still can't tell now what it means to be a Trinidadian, and that same thing. I already turned on the radio, and as it turned on, you hear a pan. Something that was invented right here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. I watched it and had to succumb to the pressures of the urban community because when he starts 91.9,
it was strictly
soca.
But and the next thing too
was Trini Bashment, then? Was the name of the station? Right.
But real ridiculous. I remember all kind of people talking all kind of nonsense.
And why we must do that? Why we must do that? When what we should have done was show our support behind it.
That station supposed to be the biggest station in Trinidad and Tobago. And any other station that it would have inspired to come after under the same format, they're supposed to be the biggest stations in the country.
But Tempo, 105, I grew up, I used to get mad.
40% local. I still upload Tempo.
Right, but it's not what it used to be still, because when I was younger, when we was going to school, and my father put that radio on me, oh God, it's kind of.
But that speaks again to us never having a culture of loving
our own.
Because again, I'm talking to the African people who they say it's not African. It's Trini. How much always listen to a station like Tempo? Because if I'm not mistaken, besides WAC, I think Tempo might be the station that plays more local music than any other radio station in this country. We have a lot of radio stations, right? Ask them who they say there's Trini. Sing 120 calypso for me, not 2021. It's a Trini. It's not African. Sing 120 calypso for me. It's a sort of talk, but it's also self-hatred to move away from where it is. Because I see, I do hear East Indian people saying that, oh, Chinese. Because what all they're learning to do is same money, say the order and cost it in English. Because I have heard and seen for myself on 2 different occasions. Right on 6th Avenue and on Charlotte Street and Quarters in Chinese cussing away people. I want to look at hot man.
To see who they're cussing.
To see his African people that cussing. Come from our next side of the world. And no kind of grounding in here, but brave enough
to cuss you.
To cuss your way. Know anything going to have no repercussions. You understand?
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, I don't know where that passiveness come from. And you know, you could do more what you want.
I mean, we could do it, but again, we were stepping on some toes. When the philosophy that you feel will save your eternal soul tell you, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, true.
Because naturally, if not know where you could go and people would naturally react like that. An invading force come, alright, they overpower you, the thing, but you always have resistance. Right? But the people that they convert into believing that thing, one of the first things that they teach them is love your enemy, which to me is total garbage. It is not possible for Orisha Lashe, Ogelana Ogunlade, to love somebody he considers an enemy. I don't know that I have enemies.
Right.
But I don't see the logic in telling me to love my enemies. And then turn the other cheek. Well, my response to turning the other cheek is this. I am a child. I am only here today because I have ancestors. I'm here firstly because of my mother and father, who are here because of their mother and father, who are here because of their mother and father. We can just keep going on, right? So one cheek was already slapped by the people who enslaved my ancestors. Right?
Right.
As much as I could possibly can, even though I just take some chokes on it, I'm not going to let you just slap the next cheek there. So it makes no sense, but that's where there's that passiveness, that docileness that is contribute to that. Because if you look at it, make no sense. A child, when you look at a 2-3-year-old who has not been indoctrinated, and you hit them or something, their first instinct is to try some kind of way to get back at you. You know?
Yeah.
So when you ask where we get that from,
it's
because people tell you that turn the other cheek. That's nonsense.
Well, on that, we will go straight into the second point, which is, well, I want to, Roxanne tell me, Karen, boycotting is, the word itself is bringer energy, right? So I'm willing to listen to her, right? Because you all tell me, take a listen, right? Because you know me and my spirit, I'm real rebellious, right?
I rebellious too, before we jump in, I rebellious too, but one of the things I realized over the years is that I need to at least get some people are listening.
Correct.
Because my haste. I'm not the first person to think this way and feel this way about so passionately about we people. You're not the first person and we're not going to be the last.
No.
Because your son will be sitting down here watching me. Sometimes having actual input so we influencing people.
Correct.
Right? It's our words I don't like to use again. So when they say Roxanne Mohammed, Sister Roxanne tell you, you know what the energy behind that. You know why I would take that as good? Because I always tell you, I do like the word unity again. Because like that word just frighten African people about it. If you say, hey, me and Karen having a little meeting, we want to talk about unity and bring people together and take a community, 3 people go show. Tell them we lying now, but that the same intention and you intend that when they come, this is what we're going to discuss. What? Think big, but they're ringing people out, people come. So I try my best not to use that word.
Right.
You know, so I understand that. But I want to say it in the way that I had write it until we find a better way. Right? The need for permanent boycotting certain businesses, institutions, anything. The need for permanent boycotting in this thing. Because first things first, if that's certain things that we just support religiously, that has never benefited us. You know? I would talk about clothing because that's what I do for a living. I sell clothing for a living.
Right.
Right? But there are other areas. I mean, our business can be in a predominantly black community. That community is the community that making your big set of money and you're not doing nothing. So, because I mean, we holding black businesses accountable, and we say it's how black businesses are doing good and they should contribute. If we can hold ourselves accountable, which I'm very glad about, I'm not saying I know negative, but if we can hold ourselves accountable, we can hold others accountable as well.
Correct.
Because we don't want no handouts, you know. One of the things that we want to make clear, we don't want no handouts. But we want some kind of level field.
Some respect. One of the things that I never mentioned it before because it's in my mind, but I was like, boy, we are going to talk about that. But when Ramesh sold, Ramesh and Lila sell, everybody said, wait, buy Massey 10. I was like,
that's the only option.
Right? I said, alright, no problem, nobody else to buy it, alright, Massey buy it. So I thinking, well, we're going to get a Massey in this hour. What we get? Disco mat.
What is Disco mat exactly?
The Gaza version. That's what it is. If you look at where it is open them, it's never enough. All the Masseys in all the other parts of the country is Massey. But in Sawa, True Value on the next side of the road, and them never change it to nothing else.
And
so where is it?
We mentioned that in one of our previous episodes that racism and classism and favoritism exist in every single aspect of life in Trinidad.
Correct.
Well, especially us as African people, we deny it because that is that.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, we is going like if we do our gentrification in Trinidad.
It exists.
You know?
And it's taking place right in Laventille. Right in Laventille. And quietly, they ain't seeing that.
How many, I don't say no, because I probably know one or two. How many big black-owned businesses on the main road between Mova Junction and when you reach by the bridge, right? But plenty of them there is from other ethnicities. But we live in there, and it's most of the workforce in them companies is us.
It's us, yeah.
How?
And that's what she was explaining in the danger of the boycott, right? That a lot of our people work there, right? And I understand what she's saying. So I will give in on that aspect of it, right? But what I'm saying is that, okay, so we're not going to say boycott, right? And we're not going to done away with them totally because we will be persecuting ourselves in the long run, right? But what we waiting on, buddy? Right? What we waiting on to build and say, alright, so Lanu is one of the biggest black-owned businesses in Trinidad and Sunroach Industries, right? Pick up yourself. I don't know the brother personal, but I know business black-owned, right? The only garbage bags that I buy is Lanu part.
And as simple as that.
Right.
So, again, as simple as that, like, if we serious about this thing, that's why I tell one or two people, or they like the talk, or they like the black conscious talk, and it's some good, and it's some like, you know, to
make you feel nice.
Yeah, but that's about it. It's what we call it, intellectual masturbation. You know? But the reality is like, I go use you as an example. I always tell you, the day I bolt in Chutong, and I see you and your wife bolt in Chutong, we didn't know we were going to bounce up, and both all in Nubian Experience. So that if I wasn't sure that you're a real supporter of what I just do, that moment made me very sure.
Right.
Because most of the times I will come here and I will, you know, in advance I come in here. So if I want to think left, I will think, well, you just go on this, just because I come in. But when I see you and your wife bolt in Chutong, how will I say that? If we see somebody, see that we now say about only garbage bags buy, well then all we cleaning products and things. Because they make a
they make a whole wide range of cleaning, and they do hair products too.
No.
Soft and silky.
What you want to watch when you're going to these Chinese groceries, everything's so hard to get now, but when you're going to Chinese groceries, Chinese bringing Chinese brand now. So me and you catch me then to bring in certain things that might be for we business and things. But Chinese bringing in things to stock supermarkets. Chinese brands, look at cigarettes. So detrimental, but support local while they kill yourself. Yeah, I have to say like that. I don't support smoking in no way, no form, no fashion.
Right.
But there are some people you can't tell them no smoke.
Yeah.
But what you do, them see that industry is so big and has so much room. And we cigarettes so expensive come here. When you stand up anywhere, anything, I hear any names of cigarette calling to me, all I know is Mori.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't smoke.
Me neither.
No. It's all kind of things. So I just stand up, I buy now water. I hear somebody come and call for something. What is that one? I see a cigarette pass. Somebody else come and call for something and a cigarette pass again. So I inquire, that is Chinese cigarettes. So they bring in and it's we supporting them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
and it's some annoyance.
Yeah,
right?
I must say.
It is some annoyance because ultimately what we not understanding is the power we have, boy, in unity. I know you didn't want to use the word, right?
Yeah.
But you can't build community when the most important part of that word is unity.
Listen.
You understand? It's unity, and what we waiting on, Dread. Let me tell you something, and all you might know. But let me tell you, for all who ensure, anybody that comes through this door here and say to me, Karen, I feel I want to do so. I asking you, what's the first question I ask you? What are you waiting on? Right? The second question I'm asking is where you need. Because my phone has give thanks to all the careers all the sales that I do, because in my phone partner is 3,000 numbers I have. I do delete numbers. Right? Because you will never know when you could lean on a bridge. Right? And you see, for me, relationship is the currency. The money will come. And if all of we start to think like that, partner, I'm going to tell you something. I just feel good when I sit down and I talk to you about your business. And I see, because remember, I live in when I say a close connection with you, right? So I know the distance where you come from to where you is. When I check your IG, you have more followers than me. I couldn't believe that the other day. I mean, but you have so much followers. You know what I mean? But the reality is people know your brand. And when I check, yes, you have your few people who you will see all the time. But it's real people who are Nubian Experience. Right? But it's up here is the problem, you know. Because we ain't believing that what we're doing so big. You understand? We ain't believing it. My little business is 300 and something clients I have. I mightn't see everybody the same time every week. But when I sit down and I study, I say, but in 10 years, so if it take me 10 years to reach here, what the next 10 years bring in? You understand? But we feel that as we open something today, it must be big, right? As you register your business and you get your certificate, you're supposed to get the keys for our Benz one time. That is not how it does work.
But that ties back into mentorship and the kind of people that we have around me, because I was definitely guilty of starting a business based on what I saw at the time as a need.
Right.
And starting a business and think, well, boy, this going one time.
Cat's pajamas.
You know, and what is the word we just use when I'm talking about that boy, I line, they break my heart, they burst my bowel, because, you know, and I'm still fighting with that now. I'm still fighting to be an inspiration via the work I just do to African people, via the clothes that I sell, because it's a big part of it. Yes, it is, what do you say? You also it's more than clothes, yes. It is more than your dress code, it's a way of life. But part of your way of life is your dress code, and I would always say, you do expect to reach China, go in a monastery, and see the monks and them in three-piece suits. You expect to see them in the gowns. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? We can't be talking. What I tell them plain. Plain. You can't come and talk black consciousness to me when a white designer name on it. I'm not taking it serious. I'm not taking it serious. I'm very, very serious about it. Right? Because I guarantee one of them white designers who will pay quadruple the money for something that the same thing that I would sell but with an African thing on it. You will never go anywhere and see them in either African designer clothing or in African clothing. I ain't vexed with them for that, you know. But you can't come and talk black consciousness to me and say we understand why we have to support each other more, why we have to work hard on keeping the money to circulate in the community, why we have to stand up when they say disrespectful thing to us and revolt against it, why we have to permanently not support some businesses and institutions. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But you tell them that while wearing a European name on your hand. Yeah, man. I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh, I'm back with it.
Are you done?
I will not tolerate it.
Yeah. We will not have it.
Yeah, we will not have it. I'm very, very serious about that. Now, to some people, that stance is because you're enclosed. Well, yes, it's like a mechanic. Yeah. You can't come and sit down and talk for 5 hours with a mechanic about sealing. True. He wants to talk about the thing, boy, them new car, them boy, them computerized engineer, other stuff. Then he wants to talk because he's a mechanic. You know? Yeah. And I choose the clothing to say something. Yeah. You know? You wouldn't want a t-shirt saying black is beautiful. Why? And that all goes back to, because why would you want something saying black is beautiful when somebody of a different ethnicity is saying black men only killing out India? All I take it on, that's something we people don't feel, we don't like to face. There's no part of this system that is not connected to another part that is fighting against us. None. Correct. No. We have to deal with it. We have to, say, our phrase just now, we have to permanently stop support some businesses. We have to permanently stop support some businesses. Because one of the reasons why some people feel so free, no consequence to talk. There's no consequence for your blatant disrespect and disregard. Like when I tell you I was on 6,000 and see the China, them cussing the people and them negotiate. Because them know we're going back right here. I throw down my basket. I tell them all them mad, all they talk to people so and all they come here.
Well, they're not from here.
Well, they're not even from here, all they come here. And then we money all they begging for and all they talking and cussing people so. And I never set foot back in there again and them can't get me back in there again.
And they ain't begging, Dre. They ain't begging because when you sit down and count how much of them it have between Sour and Mova Junction. We even have to go as far as Sour from 6th Avenue to Mova Junction. And it's all of them ram out.
Clustered up in one, because it's a grocery on one side. Right. Restaurant on the next side. It's like,
and all of them driving it. But what do we say? Boy, I start a little business there. What are you talking about, buddy? What you doing? Now I'll punch and thing. Punch, but have a punch man right there. What are they doing to anything? I don't know how come something has to be wrong with me, you know. I feel I have to go and check myself.
I ain't checking myself.
Because here's what I say. Every time I see a success level until the person posts anything regarding business, I just get excited. Right? Here's why I just get excited. My son went to Prestige School. Fatima.
Prestige School. Prestige.
Right? And in attending some of the functions and things, I noticed the camaraderie they have within what is taught to them. Right? It's almost, I don't want to use cult because that's a strong word, right? But it is almost...
That is foster that kind of connection from them. So it's like you don't build a network.
Correct.
While inside of there,
correct.
That serves almost, because I listen to some of these past people from them schools and them talk, they have a network
right.
that they hold on to 20 and 30 years later.
Yeah.
And,
But that's what they do. When Private Ryan having parties, the whole of St. Mary's back in him, when he was selling cassette and DVD and CD, is them who started him, you know. So what I'm saying is, how difficult is it to have that same culture in Success? Or that same culture in Malik or Mova? Lavontaine or Bartaria Senior come. And, North and South. Right? And Bokmalachis. Right? How hard is it to foster that in the children? Because at the end of the day, we 40s now, I will be 40 this year, you don't cross that threshold, right? And we now starting to see some of our peers now starting business because the last 10, 20 years they spend working and trying to gather themselves. So they're at a place now where they could start to do something extra, right? And as always go back to Giselle, because Giselle is one of the people who I from Form 1, you understand? And I know Giselle working on the port. She whole life, she have a youth, that is it. Now she had 2 business. But it could be 3, but I think she going down the food road, right? But when I see Giselle post anything, it don't hurt me. I don't hesitate. Share.
Today I'm mentioning that to some school friends. We want to talk about he is my friend and he is my friend and he is my friend. Big up to Giselle because she's one of our school friends that is very share my things.
Mine too.
Right?
All over them natural hair group and thing. Every time somebody asks about cutting off the hair, she just call Karen, go buy Swagg.
How you use my family and my friend and claim to be wishing me the best.
Yeah.
But simple, but on your page, use my family or my close friend.
Mm-hmm.
But it has nothing from my business on your social medias.
Yeah, that's madness.
All.
That's madness.
Every single one of my friends who involved in some kind of business or business venture.
If you check your page,
you will find things from there on mine.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't know it, some people just tell them, but even if they know, every one of them are sure send at least one customer to them.
Mm-hmm.
How it is I can't seem to get that to the people around me, like, yo.
And it ain't hard. Let me tell you something. It ain't hard. If I do sales, so I could always tie it back to that, right? They say the reach of every human is 150 to 250 people in your lifetime. So when you're dead, you could have 250 people at your funeral. Or at least 250 people who know you're gone. Right? And might send out condolences or a reach or whatever the case is, right? So if I, in my little capacity, know 250 people, and them 250 people say, boy, yeah, what's going on? I chime in by Karen. Right? You know what I will do for my business? You know if your 250 friends say, boy, today we share an Andre business. You know what I will do for your business?
Boy.
But here what we just study now. Why? I buy now jersey from Andre. I think I buy now jersey from Andre because Andre pulled down a little ride, which means Andre doing good.
Yeah.
Right? But you will know, or you ain't seeing the hours you sitting down, the amount of heat that you're taking, pressing jersey and dashiki and thing. We ain't seeing that. But because we see you in your little wherever you decide to buy to drive. Right? All of a sudden, oh boy, Angela Key.
What?
Coming up, boy.
But I go back again. The Caucasian brands and them, you don't have a problem buying it, even though them and I buy a little car, if I buy a little old car, them buying yachts and planes and small islands and things. And still going on.
And you don't know them.
Yeah.
And you're commenting happy birthday and thing on the IG.
After I real laugh at that point. You nobody to them. Happy birthday, Beyonce.
Yeah, happy birthday. And your comment is number 300 and something thousand.
Right? So you can find time to type that in. But you can't find time to just click share for something from Swagg or Nubian Experience or that kind of thing. And again, so if we do, how we time back to everything we was talking about, if we don't do that, and we continue to support and facilitate businesses that are owned and run by people with the mindset of African people, stop killing Indian people. But then we contribute into we don't pressure.
Yeah.
I'll quote Dr. Amos Wilson again. African people, black people is the only people on this planet who is willingly fund, F-U-N-D, their own oppression by the way we spend. Dr. Amos Wilson tells us that since what, the late 80s or the early 90s.
Yeah. But Tommy Hilfiger say he closes enough for we and we still buy it.
No, they say so I tell them, right? Alleged. I'm not tell you what I'm glad they say that. I want to say that. It is alleged. And he said that he come out and he went on Oprah and he didn't never see that. Right.
But
and the email was fake. And all right. It is alleged that I, Orishala Sheogela Ogunlade, don't believe in the same God and the same religious system that most of my family and friends believe in. And some of them use that to not buy from somebody that they know. Because even though we have different religious beliefs, that ain't changing nothing with how I interact with you. Unless you want to have a conversation, well, that is on you, because you know I talk in it any time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not changing nothing. You can fall along in front of me, and because you don't believe the same thing I believe, I'm not running to pick you up.
Yeah.
Come on, a man, right? But you use that. But a man allegedly say he closes enough for you, and you have no problem walking around with that name on your body.
Yeah. And then you take the apology too. You take the apology.
You understand?
Right?
Most of them who hear that about me, because I am a proud Orisha devotee, I make no beans, no bones about that. Right? They would never come to ask me, what is Orisha? We hear this and we hear that, but they would never come to ask a Orisha devotee.
Yeah.
Where I could say, I could answer the question, now come, let me go down my chief and talk now, you know? We wouldn't do that, you know? So again, I want to close up by Dr. Amos Wilson say to us, we're the only people who willingly fund our own oppression by the way we spend our money, right? These people will continue, all other ethnic groups will continue to make disrespectful, disparaging remarks about us as African people. They will continue to lump us in groups and in boxes as African people very unfairly until we do something about it. One of the things we have, one of the few power we have, is the way we spend our money, right? Any African organization that might listen to this here and reach down to the end and hear this, right? It is your duty, especially the organizations that have the media ears and attention, right? These things are not supposed to just blow past, right? Because we could say what we want about Sakmaraj. You know how much energy I think he named today? In we tradition as Africans, it say to help keep somebody alive, you call their name after the transition. You know how much energy we get into his name? But any little thing you had to say about East Indian people in this country that come across as negative, they up in the press. They up in their press and they up in the traditional media. Right? We have to do the same. We can't just say African people killing Indian people. So why are you going to walk out here? We in Sawa area, one of the most cosmopolitan communities in the country. Don't mind it's still separated. Within the community, you'd have a place where Indians live on one side and the majority, but it's still a cosmopolitan. I mean, I went primary school right in Sawa, I went to school with plenty East Indian people and things. So we were telling me when I walk out there, and the doubles man see me here, the close up, he can't pull in. Me and the doubles man whole family went primary school together. The whole family. Yeah. Them don't pass me no way. So what is supposed to do now based on that many? When them see me that we had to stand up for that and them had to see us. I don't want nobody stand up for African people. African people had to stand up for African people. I don't want nobody else but African people denounce them kind of thing. We had to do it. And the next part is about we have to permanently not support businesses that have people with that mindset that we know some of them. Yeah. And also businesses that are not contributing to the positive upward development of the African community. And to me that is the simpler part in terms of seeking and finding You need something in a hardware, for black owned hardware. You know, I mean, it might not be emergency and you can't do that. You know, we have to do that. We had all year keep asking when we started. We had to start. We had to start with them things and them the little things.
Yeah.
We had to start with it.
The little things that we could control is the things that we had to change. You understand? Them is the things that we had to change, as you rightfully say. So I ready, you know. I ready and I live in it. So we can talk
to a certain extent, we live in it, as we say in previous episodes. It's not everything we're going to be able to do that with.
Yeah.
But the things
the reality, yeah.
I mean, it's Saturday. In Trinidad and Tobago, traditionally, before we get so fast food crazy, today would be a day we'd go and buy food. And make it your business to support the people in your community.
Yeah.
Make it your business that helping. That's a bigger help than you would imagine. Bigger help than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
The woman down the road, the man right down the road selling fries and chicken.
Buy from them.
You understand? Or they're making burgers. Yeah, people come from the next side of the world, boy. You skinning up your face at the man selling a burger the side of the road. And yeah, people come from the next side of the world in a war-torn country. Come Trinidad and lining on the avenue and selling more. We lining up and pushing for them thing over we burgers here.
And we don't even know what I'm eating.
And then telling, and then had the gall to watch you and make it sound like we ain't trying, but it had people selling the burgers and things and we skin up we face at them. I remember I had the woman all kind of hours I still see her, I can't remember what she name right now, used to sell burgers on 6th Avenue. So that really is a good. That really is a good.
Yeah,
I was going to school, we were going to school then.
Back party, yeah.
And all kind of hours when I work and I used to go to school, they sell ice cream and they'll come to me like after 10 and thing. You pass back there sometime after 1 and thing in the morning, she's still there. Why is she not doing it today still? Because we
never continue to support.
You understand?
We're running in by KFC, we're running in
but
by
the people and them come, as I say, from the next side of the world and selling something similar to a burger if you don't want to call it, but it's the same flour and meat.
Yeah.
And the thriving boy, building up the stand and
yeah, food truck all over the place. And it's that what is annoying me is that when you look in these places, it's we boy. It's we. And then when we say it's we build them thing, people just have the audacity to say no.
We.
Partner, hear what, one experiment. And I'm not saying this from a place of malice. Right? But only like to test thing. Right? So if we say we're testing something, let me test a theory. Let me pick one fast food outlet, whether it be KFC or Casa Mario's, whoever, and we say here what's going on so there, we're not buying from them for the whole of this week. Right? Let me try that and see. And the reverse of that is let me pick one of we businesses and say, alright, here what's going on. We're patronizing all year alone for this whole week. Right? And watch the difference, boy. Right? Because we don't encourage each other, we don't encourage each other.
Well, let me try that now. We just follow all kind of stupid challenge. Right?
Yeah, like the challenge.
Real stupid challenge.
Yeah.
Real thing. Like, you follow that now, make all the videos, all them going by this black owned business here. Look, I'm going to get this here to eat today because here, there's this thing here, there's the man here.
Yeah.
Then we do that now, post it up, tag the businesses, give them some forward.
Yeah.
We get everybody else forward, then we do it for we now.
Yeah.
You know?
Hashtag support our black business.
You know? So, we had to stand up. If you, I mean, most people don't like to get into the conversation, and I ain't vexed with them. But I not going to listen to people cry on African people. And it's even harder on African people doing it. Right? So we had to stand up, we had to demand that respect, and we had to understand the power we dollar. Some of these people only disrespectful like that because of the kind of money they're making off of us. Right? They're disrespectful and disrespecting us. And as we giving them that power by the way we spend our money, we have to look into that. So what do you
Good.
I didn't come prepared to go on today.
Alright, so
Well, look at on your jersey actually, because that's the ancient Kemetic quote, man know thyself.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Right?
There's some ancient Kemet today called Egypt.
Right? So we're going with that one, folks. Let me try that. Right? Then actually, don't even bother. We're not trying. Let me do it. Right? You would have say, all like thing, you would have say do or do not. There is no try. Right? So, Richard Ashe.
But I like the challenge. We go ahead. I'm not challenge.
Yeah.
Peace and love, more life and good health.
Don't know.